The invitation. Dr. Amelia Chen stared at the flickering screen, her heart pounding in her chest. The signal, first detected by the Allen telescope array 3 days ago, pulsed with an undeniable rhythm. It wasn't random noise or some cosmic anomaly. It was a message. "Run it again," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Her assistant, Dr. Ravi Patel, nodded and initiated the decryption sequence once more. The lab hummed with tension as banks of quantum computers worked to decipher the alien transmission. Amelia had dedicated her life to the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, following in the footsteps of pioneers like Frank Drake and Jill Tarter. For decades, humanity had scanned the skies, hoping for a sign that we weren't alone in the universe. Now, on a rainy Tuesday in 2084, that sign had finally arrived. The computer chimed, indicating the completion of its analysis. Amelia leaned forward, her eyes widening as she read the translated text. "To the sentient beings of the third planet of the Yellow Star. You are not alone. We are the Galactic Consortium, a union of spacefaring civilizations dedicated to peace, knowledge, and mutual prosperity. Your world has reached a level of technological and cultural development that qualifies you for an invitation to join our community among the stars. If you wish to accept, construct a vessel capable of faster-than-light travel using the enclosed specifications. Navigate to the coordinates provided, and you will be welcomed as equals. We await your arrival with anticipation." Amelia read the message 3 times before its full implications sank in. This wasn't just first contact. It was an invitation to join a galaxy-spanning civilization. "Ravi," she said, her voice trembling, "get me the president. Now." The next few months were a whirlwind of activity. As news of the alien message spread, Earth was gripped by a mixture of excitement, fear, and wonder. Religious leaders debated the theological implications, scientists pored over the technical specifications included in the transmission, and politicians argued over how to respond. In the end, the decision was made. Humanity would accept the invitation. A global effort, unprecedented in scale, was launched to construct Earth's first faster-than-light vessel. The ship, christened the ESS Harmony, represented the pinnacle of human engineering, augmented by the advanced designs provided by the consortium. Amelia found herself at the center of it all. As the linguist who had decrypted the original message, she was tasked with leading the communication team that would make first contact. It was a role she had dreamed of since childhood, but the reality was far more daunting than she had ever imagined. On the day of the launch, Amelia stood on the observation deck of the lunar base, watching as final preparations were made. The Harmony gleamed in the stark sunlight, its sleek hull adorned with the flags of every nation on Earth. It was a symbol of unity, a testament to what humanity could achieve when it worked together. Captain Yuki Tanaka, the decorated astronaut chosen to command the mission, approached Amelia with a smile. "Ready to make history, Dr. Chen." Amelia nodded, trying to quell the butterflies in her stomach. "As ready as I'll ever be, Captain. I just hope my translations hold up when we actually meet these aliens." Yuki laughed, a warm, reassuring sound. "If anyone can help us talk to the stars, it's you. Come on, it's time for the final briefing." As they made their way to the conference room, Amelia marveled at the diversity of the crew. Engineers from China worked alongside physicists from Nigeria. An Indian pilot chatted animatedly with a Brazilian navigator. It was a microcosm of Earth, representing the best humanity had to offer. The briefing was short and to the point. Each department head reported their readiness, and Yuki outlined their mission one last time. They would travel to the coordinates provided by the consortium, announce their presence, and hope for the best. As the meeting adjourned, President Corey addressed the crew via hologram. Her dark eyes shone with pride as she spoke. "You carry with you the hopes and dreams of all humanity. Whatever you encounter out there, remember that you represent not just your individual nations, but our entire world. Go in peace, explore with wonder, and return to us safely. Godspeed, Harmony." The next few hours passed in a blur of final checks and emotional goodbyes. Before she knew it, Amelia was strapped into her seat on the bridge, watching as the lunar landscape fell away beneath them. "All systems nominal," reported the chief engineer, his Scottish brogue thick with excitement. "Preparing for FTL initiation." Yuki's steady voice came over the intercom. "Attention all crew. We are about to attempt our first faster-than-light jump. If successful, we will arrive at the edge of our solar system. If not, well, it's been an honor serving with you all. Initiating jump in 3, 2, 1. Amelia's world twisted, stretched, and compressed all at once. For a moment that felt like an eternity, she experienced sensations her mind couldn't begin to process. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, it was over. "Jump successful," cried the navigator. We're at the orbit of Pluto." It worked. A cheer went up throughout the ship. They had done it. Humanity had taken its first step into the cosmic ocean. Over the next few weeks, the Harmony made a series of increasingly longer jumps, pushing further and further into the unknown. Amelia spent her time fine-tuning the translation matrices, preparing for the moment when they would finally make contact with the consortium. It was during their final jump, a leap that would take them beyond the boundaries of known space, that something went wrong. Alarms blared as the ship shuddered violently. "We're off course," shouted the navigator. "Something's interfering with our nav systems." Yuki's voice cut through the chaos. "All hands, brace for emergency exit from FTL." The ship lurched, and Amelia's stomach churned as they were wrenched back into normal space. As her vision cleared, she gasped at the sight that filled the view screen. They had emerged in the midst of a vast debris field. Fragments of metal and unknown materials drifted past, some as small as pebbles, others as large as continents. And at the center of it all, a massive structure slowly rotated, its surface covered in lights and geometric patterns. "My God," whispered Yuki. "What is that?" Before anyone could respond, a new signal buzzed through the communication array. Amelia's translation program sprang to life, decoding the message in real time. A deep, resonant voice filled the bridge. "Welcome, children of Earth. You have arrived earlier than expected, but not unprepared. What you see before you is Nexus Prime, the capital of the Galactic Consortium. The debris field is our first test, a barrier to discourage those who are not ready for the challenges that lie ahead. You have crossed the gulf between stars and navigated our trial. Now you stand on the threshold of a new era for your species. Come forward and take your place among the cosmos." As the message ended, a shimmering portal opened in the debris field, offering a clear path to the massive structure. Yuki turned to Amelia, a mix of determination and wonder in her eyes. "Well, Dr. Chen, it seems our real journey is just beginning. Shall we introduce ourselves to the neighborhood?" Amelia nodded, her heart racing with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. As the Harmony moved forward, guided by Yuki's steady hand, she couldn't help but think of all the generations of humans who had looked up at the night sky and dreamed of this moment. They had been invited to the grandest stage of all, the galactic community. Now it was time to see if humanity was ready for its cosmic debut. The arrival. The ESS Harmony glided through the shimmering portal, leaving behind the debris field that had served as the Galactic Consortium's first test. As they emerged on the other side, the crew's collective gasp echoed through the ship. Nexus Prime loomed before them, a structure so vast it defied comprehension. It wasn't a planet or a space station in any conventional sense. Instead, it appeared to be a massive multilayered disk, its surface a dizzying array of lights, structures, and what looked like entire ecosystems enclosed in transparent domes. It's like someone took a galaxy and condensed it into a single structure," breathed Dr. Amelia Chen, her eyes wide with wonder. Captain Yuki Tanaka nodded, her usual composure momentarily shaken. "Harmony to Nexus Prime Control," she said, her voice steady despite the awe-inspiring view. "This is Captain Yuki Tanaka of Earth. We come in peace." There was a moment of silence, then a response came through, translated in real time by Amelia's linguistic program. "Welcome, Harmony. Please proceed to docking bay Epsilon 9. Transmitting coordinates now." As they approached their designated berth, the true scale of Nexus Prime became apparent. The Harmony, the largest ship ever constructed by humanity, was dwarfed by the vessels around it. Some were sleek and crystalline, others looked more like living creatures than spacecraft, and still others defied description entirely. The docking procedure was surprisingly smooth, guided by tractor beams more precise than anything Earth had developed. As the airlock sealed with a hiss, Amelia felt her heart racing. This was it. First contact. The delegation from Earth, led by Captain Tanaka and Dr. Chen, stepped through the airlock and into a cavernous reception area. The air was breathable, but had an odd, slightly sweet scent. Gravity felt normal, though Amelia could have sworn she felt lighter on her feet. And then she saw them. Aliens. Real, living extraterrestrials. The welcome party was a riot of shapes, colors, and forms. There were beings that looked almost human, save for their vibrant blue skin and elongated fingers. Others were clearly silicon-based, their crystalline bodies refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. One creature appeared to be a sentient cloud of gas, contained within a translucent sphere. At the forefront stood a tall, elegant being with iridescent scales and 4 arms. It stepped forward, raising all 4 hands in what Amelia hoped was a peaceful gesture. "I am Zarak, Chief Diplomat of the Galactic Consortium," it said, its words rendered in perfect English by the universal translators they all wore. "On behalf of the 10,000 sentient species that make up our union, I bid you welcome." Yuki stepped forward, mirroring the 4-armed salute as best she could with her 2. "I am Captain Yuki Tanaka of the Earth ship Harmony. We are honored to accept your invitation and grateful for your welcome." As formalities were exchanged, Amelia found herself in a daze. Her eyes darted from one alien to another, her linguist's mind racing to catalog the diversity of communication methods on display. Some species spoke with sounds, others with colors or pheromones. The translators were working overtime to render it all comprehensible. The Earth delegation was escorted to a grand chamber that Zarak called the Hall of Worlds. The room was a vast amphitheater, its walls lined with holographic displays showing thousands of different planets, star systems, and alien cityscapes. This hall serves as both a meeting place and a repository of knowledge, Zarak explained. Each member species of the consortium is represented here. And now we shall add Earth to our grand tapestry. With a gesture, Zarak activated a new display. The familiar blue marble of Earth appeared, along with scrolling data about its history, biology, and culture. As Amelia watched in awe, a small commotion broke out near one of the other displays. A group of aliens that looked like sentient plantoids were gesticulating excitedly at the image of Earth. "Is something wrong?" Amelia asked, concerned. Zarek's scales shimmered in what might have been amusement. "Not at all, Dr. Chen. The Florians are expressing their enthusiasm. Your world's biodiversity is quite remarkable by galactic standards. They're particularly impressed by your rainforests." The next few hours were a whirlwind of introductions, explanations, and barely contained excitement. The Earth delegation was shown marvels that pushed the boundaries of their understanding. Quantum computers that made their most advanced systems look like abacuses, medical technologies that could regenerate entire limbs, and energy sources that could power whole star systems. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. As the initial awe began to wear off, cultural differences began to emerge. During a tour of Nexus Prime's central archive, an incident occurred that highlighted the challenges ahead. Dr. Ravi Patel, fascinated by a device that seemed to store information in subatomic particles, reached out to touch it. Instantly, alarms blared, and several security drones materialized around him. "Step away from the Akashic encoder," a harsh voice commanded. Zarak quickly intervened, explaining to the flustered security chief that the humans meant no harm. "You must understand," Zarak said to the Earth delegation. "Some technologies here are dangerous if mishandled, and some species consider unsolicited physical contact to be highly offensive." Amelia nodded, making mental notes. "We have so much to learn," she said. Is there some kind of guide or rulebook for new species?" Zarak's eyes twinkled with an emotion Amelia couldn't quite interpret. "My dear Dr. Chen, you are the rulebook. Your experiences, your mistakes, and your triumphs will serve as a guide for your entire species as you integrate into the consortium." As the tour concluded, the Earth delegation was led to a vast chamber where representatives from hundreds of species had gathered. The room fell silent as Zarak stepped onto a central platform. "Esteemed members of the consortium," Zarak's voice boomed, "today we welcome a new species into our midst. Humanity has crossed the vast distances between stars, guided by our invitation. They have shown courage, ingenuity, and a thirst for knowledge that embodies the very spirit of our union." Zarak turned to Captain Tanaka. "Captain, on behalf of the Galactic Consortium, I hereby extend an offer of probationary membership to Earth. Do you accept?" Yuki straightened, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. "On behalf of all humanity," she said, her voice clear and strong, "we accept your offer with gratitude and humility." A cheer went up from the assembled aliens, a cacophony of sounds, lights, and even smells that overwhelmed the human senses. As the celebration began in earnest, Amelia found a quiet corner to catch her breath. She watched as her crewmates mingled with beings from across the galaxy, already beginning the long process of cultural exchange. A small spherical robot floated up to her, projecting a holographic image of Earth. "Greetings, Dr. Chen," it said in a melodious voice. "I am the Nexus Prime Orientation Assistant. Would you like to begin your species integration briefing?" Amelia smiled, her eyes shining with the promise of discovery. "Yes," she said, "I'm ready to begin." As she followed the robot deeper into the heart of Nexus Prime, Amelia knew that humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. They had been invited to the cosmic stage, and now it was time to learn their part in the grand performance of the universe. The stars had called, and humanity had answered. Now, they would have to prove they were ready for the challenges and wonders that awaited them in the vast, wild frontier of the Galactic Consortium. The challenge. Commander Jack Harper stood on the bridge of the ESS Prometheus, Earth's most advanced warship, staring at the holographic display with a mixture of awe and trepidation. The Vorax fleet spread out before them like a swarm of angry insects, their obsidian ships reflecting no light, seeming to swallow the very stars behind them. "Status report," Jack barked, his voice steady despite the tension that filled the air. His first officer, a Tritonian named Zol whose skin shimmered like the ocean, responded promptly. "Shields at maximum. Quantum torpedoes armed. The rest of the Coalition fleet is in position, awaiting your command." It had been 50 years since humanity joined the Galactic Consortium. In that time, Earth had undergone a transformation beyond anything in its history. Faster than light travel had become commonplace. Diseases that once plagued humanity were now easily curable, and Earth's cities had begun to resemble the wonders they'd first seen on Nexus Prime. But with great advancement came great responsibility. The consortium was not the utopia it had first appeared to be. There were conflicts, political intrigues, and now, for the first time in centuries, war. The Vorax, a species from the galactic fringe, had launched a campaign of conquest that threatened the stability of the entire consortium. Their technology was strange and terrible, able to corrupt and assimilate other races' ships and even biology. Humanity, still the newcomers in galactic society, had been thrust into the role of defenders. Their unique approach to warfare, a blend of strategic thinking honed over millennia of conflict on Earth and the advanced technology of the consortium, had proven effective against the Vorax threat. "Commander," called out Lieutenant Amara Chen, great-granddaughter of the legendary Dr. Amelia Chen, I'm detecting unusual energy fluctuations from the Lid Vorax vessel. It doesn't match any known weapon signature. Jack frowned. The Vorax were known for their unpredictability, but this was something new. Analysis. Amara's fingers flew over her console, her neural implants interfacing directly with the ship's sensors. It's like they're trying to create a localized space-time distortion. But the power requirements for something like that would be... She never finished her sentence. A blinding flash erupted from the Vorax flagship, and suddenly, the space around the Coalition fleet began to warp and twist. Evasive maneuvers. Jack shouted, but it was too late. The Prometheus shuddered as reality itself seemed to fracture around them. When the light faded and the sensors came back online, Jack's blood ran cold. Half of the Coalition fleet had vanished, seemingly erased from existence. The remaining ships were scattered and disoriented. Status, Jack demanded, helping a dazed crew member back to their station. Shields at 60%, Zol reported, his usual calm demeanor shaken. We've lost contact with Admiral Zavera's flagship and at least a dozen other ships. The Vorax fleet is advancing. Jack's mind raced. This was bad. The carefully laid plans of the Coalition had been shattered in an instant by this new Vorax superweapon. If they couldn't find a way to counter it, the battle, and possibly the war, would be lost. Amara, he said, turning to his science officer, I need options. What did they just hit us with, and how do we stop it from happening again? Amara's face was pale, but her voice was steady as she reported. Based on the sensor readings, it appears to be some kind of localized time dilation field. They found a way to selectively accelerate time in small pockets of space. The ships that vanished, they may have aged thousands of years in an instant. A horrified silence fell over the bridge. The implications were staggering. But Jack Harper hadn't become the youngest commander in Earth's fleet by buckling under pressure. His mind was already racing, drawing on lessons from Earth's history, seeking a solution. If they're manipulating time, he mused aloud, then maybe we can use that against them. Amara, could we modify our quantum torpedoes to create a reverse time dilation effect? Amara's eyes widened as she caught on to his train of thought. It's possible, but we'd need to invert the torpedo's chronoton field. The calculations would be incredibly complex. Do it, Jack ordered. Zol, have the engineering team reroute all non-essential power to the torpedo systems, and get me aligned to the remaining Coalition ships. If this is going to work, we'll need to coordinate our attack. As the crew sprang into action, Jack opened a channel to the Coalition fleet. Ships from a dozen different species acknowledge, their commanders looking to the human for leadership. This is Commander Harper of the Prometheus, he began, his voice steady and determined. The Vorax have revealed a new weapon, but we have a plan to counter it. Stand by to receive modified torpedo schematics. On my mark, we'll launch a coordinated strike at these coordinates. He uploaded the attack plan, a daring maneuver that would concentrate their fire on a single point in the Vorax formation. It was risky. If they were wrong, they'd be vulnerable to another time dilation attack. But if they succeeded, they might just turn the tide of the battle. As the minutes ticked by, tension mounted on the bridge. Amara worked feverishly, her mind interfacing directly with the ship's computers as she recalibrated the torpedoes. Zol coordinated with the other ships, ensuring everyone was in position. Finally, Amara looked up. Modifications complete, Commander. It's not perfect, but it's the best we can do with the time we have. Jack nodded. This was it. All ships, fire on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark. A volley of quantum torpedoes streaked across space, their warheads glowing with an eerie blue light. The Vorax, perhaps overconfident from their earlier success, were slow to react. The torpedoes struck home, detonating in a spectacular burst of energy. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, to the astonishment of everyone watching, the Vorax ships at the point of impact began to change. Their sleek black hulls began to rust and deteriorate. Entire sections of their fleet seemed to age centuries in moments, becoming brittle and fragile. "It worked," Amara exclaimed. "We've created a localized field of accelerated time, just like they did to us." Jack allowed himself a small smile. All ships press the attack. Concentrate fire on the affected vessels. The battle that followed was short but fierce. The coalition fleet, emboldened by their success, fought with renewed vigor. The Vorax, caught off guard by the humans' ingenious counter to their superweapon, fell into disarray. Within hours, it was over. The remaining Vorax ships fled, jumping to hyperspace with their fleet in tatters. As the adrenaline of battle faded, Jack looked around the bridge of the Prometheus. His crew, human and alien alike, worked seamlessly together, tending to damaged systems and coordinating rescue efforts for disabled ships. A transmission came through. It was Zarak, the consortium's supreme commander. The aged diplomat's face was solemn but filled with pride. "Commander Harper," Zarak said, "you and your crew have done the impossible today. You've not only saved this sector, but quite possibly turned the tide of the entire war. Humanity has proven, beyond any doubt, its value to the consortium." Jack nodded respectfully. "Thank you, Supreme Commander. We only did what any of us would have done. The credit belongs to every species in this coalition. We won because we stood together." As the transmission ended, Jack felt the weight of the day's events settling on his shoulders. They had won a great victory, but the war was far from over. The Vorax would be back, possibly with even deadlier weapons. But looking at his crew, the determined set of Amara's jaw as she analyzed data from the battle, the quiet confidence in Zol's stance as he coordinated with other ships, Jack felt a surge of hope. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge yet in the galactic community and had risen to the occasion. They had proven that their unique way of thinking, their ability to innovate in the face of overwhelming odds, was an asset to the entire consortium. As the Prometheus set a course for the nearest starbase for repairs, Jack Harper knew that this was just the beginning. Humanity's journey among the stars had taken an unexpected turn, but they were ready for whatever the cosmos might throw at them next. The challenge had been met, and humanity had shown it was ready to take its place as full and valued members of the galactic community. The innovation. Dr. Zara Okoro stood before the Galactic Consortium's Council of Sciences, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The amphitheater was filled with the most brilliant minds from 1,000 worlds, their attention focused solely on her. Some leaned forward in anticipation. Others regarded her with skepticism, their alien features impossible to read. 200 years had passed since the Vorax War, and humanity's standing in the consortium had grown tremendously. Earth had become a hub of innovation, blending its own unique perspectives with the advanced sciences of the galaxy. But what Zara was about to present could change everything. "Esteemed colleagues," she began, her voice steady despite her nerves, "I stand before you today to present a revolution in propulsion technology. For millennia, we've relied on variations of quantum folding to achieve faster-than-light travel. Today, I propose something entirely new: the harmonic drive." A murmur rippled through the audience. Zara took a deep breath and continued. "The harmonic drive is based on a synthesis of advanced physics and Earth music theory." The murmur grew louder. A Quantian scientist, his crystalline form shimmering with skepticism, spoke up. "Music theory. Dr. Okoro, surely you jest. How could primitive Earth harmonics possibly relate to interstellar propulsion?" Zara smiled. She'd anticipated this reaction. "I understand your skepticism, counselor. But consider this. At its core, music is mathematics. It's about frequencies, resonances, and the manipulation of waves. Now, imagine applying those principles not just to sound, but to the very fabric of space-time." She gestured, and a holographic display sprang to life behind her. Complex equations danced alongside visual representations of sound waves and quantum fields. The harmonic drive works by creating a resonance cascade in subspace, by precisely tuning the drive's emissions to match the fundamental frequency of the quantum foam. We can create a harmonic vibration that literally sings the ship through space. The display showed a simulation of a starship surrounded by concentric rings of energy that pulsed like sound waves. As the waves intensified, the ship seemed to phase in and out of reality before shooting forward at impossible speed. But the true beauty of this system, Zora continued, her eyes shining with passion, is its efficiency and safety. Unlike traditional FTL drives, the harmonic drive doesn't brute force its way through space. It works with the underlying structure of the universe, more like surfing a wave than punching a hole through reality. She went on to explain the technical details, how the drive used principles of counterpoint and harmony to navigate gravitational fields, how it could adjust its song in real time to avoid collisions or cosmic phenomena. The more she spoke, the more the initial skepticism in the room turned to fascination. An Arborean scientist, her leafy crest quivering with excitement, raised a tendril. "Dr. Okoro, the implications of this are staggering. If I understand correctly, this drive could potentially allow for safer travel through previously impassable regions of space." Zara nodded eagerly. "Exactly. Dense asteroid fields, the fringes of black holes, even the space between galaxies, all could potentially be navigated with the right harmonic configuration." The questions came rapidly after that. For hours, Zara fielded inquiries from some of the greatest scientific minds in the galaxy. She explained how Earth's diverse musical traditions had influenced different aspects of the drive's design, how the mathematics of jazz improvisation had led to breakthroughs in real-time course corrections. As the session wound down, the chair being of the council, a gaseous entity contained within a hovering sphere, moved to the center of the chamber. "Dr. Okoro," it intoned, its voice a melodious hum, "your presentation has been most illuminating. The council will need time to review and verify your findings, of course. But if your harmonic drive performs as proposed, it could revolutionize galactic travel and exploration. Humanity has once again demonstrated its unique ability to find connections where others see only disparate elements." Zara bowed respectfully, a gesture she'd learned from her time studying with Zen masters on New Kyoto. "Thank you, Chair Being. I look forward to working with the Council to refine and implement this technology for the benefit of all species in the consortium." As the assembly adjourned, Zara found herself surrounded by scientists eager to discuss her work further. A Delphinian, their cybernetic implants glowing softly, approached her with what seemed to be excitement. "Dr. Okoro, your work is fascinating. I'm particularly intrigued by how you've applied the principles of Earth's modal jazz to navigational algorithms. Would you be interested in collaborating on an expansion of this concept?" Zara's eyes lit up. "Absolutely. I've always believed that the best innovations come from cross-cultural and cross-species collaboration. Perhaps we could look at incorporating some Delphinian ultrasonic communication principles into the harmonic matrix." As they delved into an animated discussion of theoretical physics and cinemusicology, Zara felt a profound sense of satisfaction. This was why humanity had reached for the stars, not just to explore, but to learn, to grow, and to contribute to the grand symphony of the cosmos. Months passed, and a harmonic drive moved from theoretical concept to practical application. The first test flights exceeded even Zora's optimistic projections. Ships equipped with the new drive could navigate with unprecedented precision, slipping through spatial eddies and gravitational currents like fish in a stream. The implications were enormous. Regions of space once thought impassable were now open for exploration. Trade routes that once took weeks could be traversed in days. The drive's efficiency meant that smaller ships could travel further than ever before, democratizing space travel in a way not seen since humanity's early days in the consortium. But it wasn't just the practical applications that excited the galactic community. The harmonic drive represented a new way of thinking about space travel, one that saw the universe not as an obstacle to be overcome, but as a partner in exploration. On the day the consortium officially approved the harmonic drive for widespread implementation, Zara stood in the observatory of Nexus Prime, watching ships of all shapes and sizes zipping through the starfield. Each one left a unique trail of subspace resonance, visible only to specialized sensors. To Zara, it looked like nothing so much as notes on a cosmic sheet of music. Her old mentor, Dr. Xantos, a venerable Arcturian scientist, joined her at the window. His tentacles waved gently in a gesture of pride and affection. "You've done a remarkable thing, Zara," he said, his voice a soothing rumble. "Your drive isn't just moving ships through space. It's changing how we perceive the very nature of travel and exploration." Zara smiled, thinking of the long journey that had led to this moment. From a childhood spent in the reclaimed rainforests of Earth, to her studies at the consortium's most prestigious universities, to the countless hours of research and experimentation, it had all led to this. "Thank you, Xantos," she said softly. "But this is just the beginning. The harmonic drive has opened up so many possibilities. I can't help but wonder what we'll discover out there, now that we can listen to the song of the universe itself." As if in response to her words, a ship equipped with the new drive passed by the observatory. Its passage left a shimmering trail of harmonic resonance, a visual representation of the cosmic melody it had sung to navigate the stars. Zara watched it disappear into the distance, her mind already racing with ideas for the next innovation. Humanity had found its voice in the grand chorus of the galaxy, and the song they were creating together was more beautiful than anything she could have imagined. The universe, it seemed, was eager to dance to this new rhythm. And humanity, with its unique blend of creativity, adaptability, and harmony, was ready to lead the galactic ensemble into a future filled with wonder and discovery. The symphony. The skies above Earth shimmered with the lights of 1,000 alien craft, their designs as varied as the species that crewed them. It was the dawn of the year 3084 by the old Earth calendar, marking a millennium since humanity had taken its first steps into the galactic community. And now, that same community had gathered to witness the culmination of 1,000 years of human innovation and interstellar collaboration. Grand Admiral Aria Chen Harper stood on the bridge of the CSS Orpheus, the flagship of Earth's cosmic symphonic fleet. As a descendant of both the legendary linguist Dr. Amelia Chen and the war hero Commander Jack Harper, Aria felt the weight of history on her shoulders. But today, that weight was balanced by an overwhelming sense of pride and anticipation. "Status report," she called out, her voice calm but filled with barely contained excitement. Her first officer, a Tritonian named Zol Era, a descendant of the very same Zol who had served with Jack Harper, responded promptly. "All systems nominal. Admiral, the fleet is in position, and the Galactic Consortium representatives are standing by." Aria nodded, her eyes sweeping over the holographic displays that surrounded her. The CSS Orpheus wasn't just a ship, it was the most ambitious project ever undertaken by humanity and their alien allies. It was a ship, a musical instrument, and a work of art all in one. The culmination of centuries of refining and expanding upon Dr. Zora Okoro's groundbreaking harmonic drive. "Open a channel to the fleet," Aria commanded. As the communications officer complied, she took a deep breath and addressed her crew and the crews of the 100 other ships that made up the cosmic symphonic fleet. "To all hands of the symphonic fleet, this is Grand Admiral Chen Harper. For 1,000 years, humanity has been privileged to be part of the Galactic Consortium. We've learned, grown, and contributed in ways our ancestors could scarcely have imagined. Today, we present our gift to the galaxy, a symphony of the cosmos, played upon the very strings of space-time itself." She paused, allowing her words to sink in. "Each of our ships is an instrument in this grand orchestra. Together, we will create music not just to be heard, but to be experienced across the fabric of reality. Let us show the universe the harmony we can create when we work as one. Maestro, if you would begin the countdown. On cue, the holographic image of Maestro Alessandro Stradivarius appeared on every ship in the fleet. The composer, whose mastery of both music and astrophysics had made this performance possible, raised her baton. And a one, and a two, and... As the Maestro's baton fell, the CSS Orpheus and its fellowships sprang to life. The harmonic drives that powered each vessel began to pulse in perfect synchronization, their subspace resonances carefully tuned to create a cosmic chord that rippled through the very fabric of space-time. The fleet began to move, each ship following a meticulously choreographed course. As they danced through the star-studded void, they left trails of shimmering energy, visual representations of the music they were creating. From the surface of Earth and from observation points throughout the solar system, billions of beings watched in awe. The sky above them transformed into a living canvas of light and color, each movement of the fleet adding new layers to the cosmic composition. Aria felt the ship vibrate beneath her feet as the Orpheus played its part in the symphony. The bridge crew worked in perfect harmony, adjusting the ship's systems in real time to maintain the delicate balance required for the performance. As the symphony progressed, its effects began to be felt far beyond the solar system. On distant worlds, sensors picked up the harmonic resonances, translating them into sounds and images that left even the most jaded consortium scientists speechless. In the Andromeda Galaxy, a race of energy beings perceived the music as fluctuations in the cosmic background radiation, a phenomenon they found so beautiful that it sparked a cultural renaissance. Near the galactic core, a civilization that communicated through gravitational waves experienced the symphony as a profound message of unity and hope, leading them to reach out to the consortium for the first time in eons. And in the vast, dark spaces between galaxies, ancient entities that had slumbered since the dawn of time stirred, awakened by the song of a young species that had learned to play the music of the spheres. Back on the Orpheus, Aria watched as the symphony reached its crescendo. The movements of the fleet had brought them into a complex formation, with the Orpheus at the center. As the final notes approached, each ship's harmonic drive pulsed in perfect unison. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, the universe itself held its breath. Then, in a dazzling burst of energy, the combined harmonics of the fleet opened a swirling portal in space, a hyperspace window larger and more stable than any ever created before. As the symphony concluded, the portal stabilized, its edges shimmering with all the colors of the electromagnetic spectrum. Aria's voice, filled with awe and triumph, echoed across the communication channels. Consortium control, this is the CSS Orpheus. The harmonic hypergate is stable and ready for transit. We've opened a door to the stars greater than any we've known before. The response came not just from consortium control, but from thousands of worlds across the galaxy. Cheers, congratulations, and expressions of awe in hundreds of languages flooded the airwaves. Zorak, the ancient consortium leader who had first welcomed humanity to the galactic stage 1,000 years ago, appeared on the main view screen. Though his body was now mostly cybernetic, his eyes still shone with the same warmth and wisdom. "Humanity," he said, his voice filled with emotion, "you have outdone yourselves. This harmonic hypergate is more than just a technological marvel. It is a testament to what can be achieved when the diverse species of our galaxy come together in harmony. You have turned the music of the spheres into a bridge between stars." As the consortium fleet began to move towards the gate, preparing for the first official transit, Aria turned to her crew. Humans stood side by side with descendants of the many alien races they had befriended and worked with over the centuries. Each face shone with pride and wonder at what they had accomplished. "Well done, everyone," she said softly. "I think we've given the galaxy something to remember us by." Zol Era, her first officer, nodded in agreement. "Indeed, Admiral. But something tells me this is just the opening movement of humanity's cosmic symphony." As the first ships began to pass through the harmonic hypergate, venturing towards distant corners of the universe that had once been unreachable, Aria couldn't help but smile. Humanity had come so far from those first tentative steps into the galactic community. They had faced challenges, overcome prejudices, and pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. Now, as the gateway to a new era of exploration and discovery stood open before them, Aria knew that the greatest adventures still lay ahead. Humanity, in concert with their allies across the cosmos, would continue to compose the ever-evolving symphony of the universe. The stars had called to them 1,000 years ago, and humanity had answered. Now, they were ready to lead the galactic choir into a future filled with endless possibilities, their song echoing through the cosmos for eons to come.